Hey, thank you so much for spending your precious time with me for another Multi-Passionate PSA. My name is Caitlin Bosshart. I'm a life coach for multi-passionate creatives. And this is a video series all about the common myths and misconceptions that multi-passionate people often have about themselves, their passion projects, and the life that they want to create for themselves. Today's multi-passionate PSA is one that so many people struggle with this. And it is having guilt around, like little kitties here, it's around having guilt for losing interest and moving on from a passion project. Maybe one that you spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and maybe has even become part of your identity, but you're at a point in time where your relationship to it needs to maybe shift or change. Maybe you need to spend energy and time somewhere else instead. Or maybe you're just ready to move on from it all together. This is really hard because there's a lot of cultural messaging that goes into this idea of, if you don't stick with something, you're never going to be an expert. Being an expert, that's something that a lot of multi-passionate people struggle with. And if that's you, definitely go back and watch my other PSA about how actually having a broad range of knowledge in a lot of different areas is actually a type of expertise. But if you're ready to move on from something, give yourself permission, because that just means that maybe that thing, you got what you needed out of it. Maybe you learned what you came to learn. And when we're no longer learning, or we aren't learning at rapid of a pace, or we maybe got what we wanted out of a project, possibly without even knowing it, or necessarily having a specific goal in mind when we started out, that's when we start to get bored, and that's when we want to move on. This is something that actually is really present for me, and I almost feel, and this is something I also struggle with. I even feel like a little squirmy even saying it, because this particular passion project has become such a big part of my identity in a lot of ways. And this year, I'll just show her because she's just here. She keeps patting on my shoulder. This is Vida. I actually need to shift my relationship to beekeeping. The last couple of years, I really struggled to keep my beehives alive. And this winter, mine didn't make it again. And I am just to the point where I need to do something different with it, to be honest. I don't know kind of why it's not successful, but I'm just getting frustrated. And to be honest, after losing my dog really suddenly, I just don't really want to take on, caring for more living things than I already am. So, okay, this is too much. So I've just decided that I'm going to shift, this year, and am going to take a more, passive approach to this passion project. If, say, someone comes across a swarm of bees, I will go pick up those bees and I will care for them. But this year, I decided not to order more bees. I decided to not spend my resources in that area, and instead focus on these other passion projects that I'm feeling more called to. And I'll be honest, I almost I hate to say this, because my friends, I know they're gonna be like, what, you're not gonna have bees this year? But I need a break, and I need to focus on something else, and that's just what I'm feeling called to. So if that is something similar, something similar is coming up for you, or maybe if you're being really honest with yourself, you're just not feeling as energized around a passion project, it's okay to set it aside for some time. It's okay to move on if you need to. So I just want to give you permission to do that. And that is, this PSA. If this resonates with you, if this strikes a chord with you, I want to know what pieces, resonate with you. So let me know in the comments. If there's something that you struggle with that you'd like for me to talk about in the future, please let me know. I want to create PSAs that are going to support you in your journey as a multi-passionate creative. And as always, if you've been watching these, you know what I'm going to say. I want to remind you to be unwilling to settle for less in the life that you want. The world craves your authenticity. Thanks so much. And my cat just knocked off. Actually, I'm just gonna show you this ridiculousness. So of course my cat just knocked off this plant onto the ground. Cat mom life, right? All right, I'll see you next time.